Welcome back. All right, we're going to move on now and start doing a little bit of painting here. So we're not going to get super complicated. We're just going to keep it simple. This is kind of a learning process, but we're going to do what's called a little bit of vertex painting, which you can do on a very dense mesh model. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do what I've been showing you. We're going to make a copy here, duplicate collection, all right, hide the old one, and we're going to rename this. This will be 7, and we'll do texture paint, TXTURE underscore paint. All right, great. So we'll select the head, and what we're gonna do is first come over here to the right and make sure you have your material tab selected, and make sure, and if you have the head selected, you'll see this is the skin material for Nux here, and we're going to right click on the base color. Okay, so we're going to double click on the base color here, this purple swatch, and here you have RGB, HSV, and hex. We want to go to hex, and you want to select this number and copy it. You can do that by selecting Control C. There we go. So you want to come over here, click that swatch, go over here to hex, select that number code, and that's a code for the color of his skin, and you're going to select Control on the bottom left of the keyboard and C, or you can, yeah. And what you did was, when you do Control C, you just copied that number, and it's on the computer is holding on to it. So now we're going to go up here to the top, and you see a bunch of different tabs. We're going to go to the shading tab. Now this is where you can create shading node networks to create complex textures and materials for your characters or your environments. So because we have the head selected, we have the skin node selected, and it's a principled BSDF with the material output for surface. So what we're gonna do now is we're going to add. So click over here, add, and you're going to go search, and you're going to type in color, and you're just going to select color attribute. Okay? And then you're going to see this little green dot here. You're going to click on that and pull it over and put it into the base color, which essentially turns this to black and eliminates the color that we put on there, but that's okay. It's not a bad thing. So we're going to go back to layout. All right, we have the head selected. We're going to go over to object mode, down to sculpt mode, and we're going to scroll over here down the tools to paint. You're going to click on that, and this is our paint brush. And up here you have your two different colors that you can paint with. Now what we want to do is the far left one is the main color that you'll be painting with. So we want to click on that. Make sure you select hex, right click or left click into there, that selects it, and do control, push the control button in the bottom left corner of your keyboard and the V key, and that pastes in the hex color code that we had for his purple skin. So you hit enter and it selects it. So we have that all set. So that means that when we paint, we'll be painting with this purple color. So first we're going to do that. We're going to repaint the skin very quickly, and I'm going to just make the brush much bigger so we can do this faster. There we go. Okay, and strength's at 1, which you want. Now it turns to white, which is okay, but as you see, we're starting to paint this color on. So just cover his entire head in this purple color. All right, nice and simple. Okay, awesome. So now we're back to square one. So what we want to do is we want to put a little color variation into them to make it a little more interesting. So one of the things you may notice this with people is around their eyes, where your skin is thinner, the skin around your eyes can be a little darker because you can, since the skin is thinner, you can kind of see the blood vessels, the veins underneath your skin there, and it makes your eyes look a little darker, a little purplish. So what we're going to do is we're going to paint with a darker purple. So we can go over here and we can just darken this purple color by moving this dot down, right? And that'll give us a darker color. And we're going to just paint around the eyes, and I'm actually going to hide the eyes so we can see this better. I'm going to make the brush smaller. There we go. And just going to paint inside. There we go. And then maybe a little bit smaller with the brush to like maybe, let's try 100. And then I'm going to switch to 0.6, okay, because we just want to lightly do it. Don't want to go crazy, because then he looks like he has a black eye. And you just want just a little bit. Now that's a little too much, to be quite honest, but that's okay. You can select Control Z or go up here to edit and go undo, and you can do it again, and you can do it again and again and again until you get it the way you like it. So I'm going to go down to the strength to 0.25. All right, now let's see how that does. See, it's all subtle. You don't want it overwhelming, and you just build up. All right. You do that, you take a look, yeah, it's not bad. Then you can turn on the eye, see how it looks. Might be a little dark, that's okay. Just might want a little bit there. There. All right. Nice and simple. And you can do the same thing down around the lips. So our lips are a different color because we have more blood vessels near the surface, so they can be a little redder. We could do a little bit with that. We can make this a little lighter. So we can go over here and we can move this up a little bit. Maybe just change the intensity just a little bit. And we can just try it out. We don't have to commit to it, right? It just makes things a little more interesting. Now you can do whatever you want. That's the fun part. Create your own version. You can give them polka dots. I'm just kind of showing you some of the basic stuff that I've done, that I've learned from some of the best artists in the world. And it's usually, they do things very subtly and then they build up and build up. Sometimes they come back and they don't like it and they start over again. Or they get notes from their supervisors or the director. Oh, it's too much, not enough. That's just the way it goes. So we're going to do the same here with the nose. Okay, but we're going to go back down to a darker color. So I'm going to control paste in the hex. It should still be in there. So control V. And then enter. And then I'm going to go really dark this time. And I'm going to go with a little brush. And I can make it real small. All right. And we're just going to paint in here. And I'm going to turn this up, the strength. Let's go up to about 7. It makes the nose pop a little more. You can try the smear brush, see if that just kind of blends things in a little bit. It's like using your finger if you're painting something or using crayons. You can smear things in, mixes it in so you don't get such a hard edge. All right. Cool. Okay. Then we might want to put a little bit of darkness in here for the mouth. So I'm going to switch to the ortho view here by clicking on this X. And I'm going to, let's see, let's make that lighter too. Let's just go to 0.4. There we go. And this will help make the mouth pop a little more. And then we can use the smear tool again. And kind of blend it in a little bit better. Use a bigger brush. We'll see how this works. And I'm going to do it big enough so it smears in a little bit with the lighter colors we did for the lips. Yeah, see how that just kind of, it helps blend things in a little bit. Let's see if it works with the eyes here. It's a little more interesting. And we could add little spots on the back of his head, you know, just an idea. You could go back to the brush tool, go up to strength. Let's turn that up just a little bit. And let's make it smaller, but you could do stuff like, we don't want it to be exactly the same on the other side, so I'm going to go over to the right here and turn off the symmetry tool, and because stuff like that would be non-symmetrical, like freckles. And you could just add some make it smaller so we can have a nice mix. Try not to make everything the exact same size. Yeah, it's kind of fun. And if you wanted to, you can lighten a lot of this stuff up. If you feel like it's too dark, you can just go back to the main color and you can repaste in the original color. Control V. And let's make it a little bigger. And you could just paint it out, turn back on your symmetry, or you could just lighten it. Maybe it's just a little too dark, you just want it to be a little more subtle. You could do that too. So say you do 0.5 and then you can just do the same here if you wanted to. I'm just doing like a little click to kind of blend it in a little bit. Maybe it's too much. Show a little variation. Like some freckles are stronger than other freckles. Do the same here. Just out, but anyway. So yeah, now his skin's very shiny, and I think we can make it look a little better than that. So I'm going to go up to Sculpt mode, Object mode, make sure the head's still selected. And we're going to select the skin, and over here you see all these different controls. Well, roughness controls how shiny it is, and we want it to be less shiny. So we're going to move that, see, like that. And doesn't that look a lot better already? And you can see some of the work we did already as well. Pops a little better. It's not competing with the specularity. And then you can do the same with the eyes. So eyes are usually shiny because they're wet with tears. So we want to make that stand out. So we're going to select the sclera right up here. That brings up the material. And so we're going to go to the roughness and let's make that 0.2. Let's do 0.1. 0.1. And see how that makes that shiny? And then we can make the specular a little bigger. So right now it's 0.5. Make it stronger to 0.8. And we do the same with the rest of the eye. We do the same with the iris. 0.1. Roughness 0.1. There. It looks a little better. And then I just want to fix one little thing. So you might be having this in yours as well. So some of the some of the geometry is popping through in the eye, and you can kind of see it there through the pupil. So we don't want that. So there's two things we can do. We can either go in here and push this in, or we can just we can select the eye, which is what I want to do. Go over here to the top left, object mode, to edit mode. And we're going to use the selection circle. We're going to select those, and we're going to use the move tool. And I think we're just going to move this forward. Oh, that didn't work too well, did it? Let's do that. Control Z. Object mode. Edit mode. Select. Move. Yeah, let's just move it up so you can't see it. There you go. And we switch back to object mode. Oops. We're going to line it up here. I'm going to switch to wireframe, and I'm going to use the scale tool to scale this down. So I'm going to select S. I'm going to scale it down to just a little bit bigger than the pupil. All right. Go back, and then we're just going to move this up. There we go. And deselect. Oh, so we have a little ring of geometry here, which is fine. So I'm going to go and hide the head so we can get a look at this better. Okay, that's easy. Select one of them, go to select, make sure you've got face select, select, and go down to select loops, edge loops. Nope, that didn't work. Okay. So I'm going to switch to just solid gray so you can see it better. So I'm holding the shift key down. So you select one face, then hold the control key at the bottom left corner of your keyboard. Alright, and then while you're holding that key down, it'll select all the faces in between there. So you could save yourself a little time. Oops, didn't want that. Navigate closer. Okay. There we go. And so we're gonna, now that we have those selected, we're going to go over here, make sure you're in the Material tab on the right, select the interior, the little black sphere, and we're going to go Assign. Okay. Then we go back up here to the color and deselect, and that's all black. So great, that should fix it. Let's go Edit Mode, back to Object Mode, and let's turn the head back on. And there you go, that's fixed. Okay. All right. And we'll see little things we can do to kind of push this and improve this even more in the next chapter. So I'll see you then.